Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Golden Speakers Toastmasters Club meeting. My name is Rick Starr, and it's my pleasure to introduce the president of the Golden Speakers Club, Jean Symington Craig.
Thank you, Acting Sergeant at Arms Rick Starr. Greetings. Is everyone wearing at least 3 layers? Okay, this is seems to be our MO in this room till we sort it out. I don't know whether it's just the fact that we're at the end of the ice cream aisle, so it just keeps rolling in, so we apologize for that. I have no idea where I am in all of these layers. I'm in here somewhere. But welcome to Golden Speakers Toastmasters, because even if the room is a bit brisk, the camaraderie is very warm and cozy. We meet every Tuesday night, 7:45 to 9:15 in the Hy-Vee Community Room, again at the end of the ice cream aisle on the west side of the store. Everyone is welcome, viewers at home. It's good to get out and get the blood circulating and come on down and bring your grocery list. So do we have any guests today? We thought we were going to have a number of guests. I think we have some repeat guests. These are the ones that the hook got set last week and now it starts just coming in. But let's just say hello to them. So again, we know who you are, but just say hi and again, what made you come back? So go ahead, Nicole. Yeah.
Hello everyone, I am Nicole Martell and just been having the call to join for quite a while, and here I am. And it was such a fabulous experience last week. It really is a warm, nurturing environment, and I already learned quite a bit, so I'm back for more.
Good, all right, very good. Okay. Mark.
Hello, Mark Flanagan. I also came last week and enjoyed it myself, and came back to nurture, what was that? What was that word again?
That
Nascent.
last week, from last week?
Nascent.
Nascent.
My experience.
He's remembering and applying the words. This is, and plus he liked evaluating. He liked hearing about evaluating. I mean, we're talking double stars here. Very good. And we have a new member who last week sat in the seat closest to the door in case a quick getaway was needed, but ended up joining the club. This is Donna Lindley, and Donna, maybe you could just say what happened to you last week that turned you so radically.
Hi, my name is Donna Lindley, and I'm so glad to be here. Well, my motto is, if it's a lot of fun, I'll be there. And so that's the main reason why I'm back. And well, not the main reason. The main reason is that I really do have a deep compassion to be a motivational speaker. And so, and it looks like a great group to be able to learn and experience that. Thanks.
All right, great. Really, really good. Vice President of Membership, are we going to be in a position to do something with our new member, or did we?
We can do that.
Well, we don't have to do it now. We'll do it at the end.
All right.
So just when you thought you were in, and that was, we have a little process there. We induct you in, and it doesn't hurt at all, honestly. Did anyone's induction hurt? Do you remember that at all?
Anyone what?
Did anyone's induction
Hazing
hurt?
process?
Yeah.
Might hurt a little bit.
After you, we stopped the hazing
Okay.
process. After you, we stopped the hazing process.
It's gotten a lot.
It's so hard when they cry. You know, it's really hard when they cry. That's not what we're here for. We're here to challenge and to develop and grow, but we're here to do it in a fun way. And that's what we do here. When I joined, I just said, this is gonna have to be fun, because I have so much stuff going on that really fun is where it needs to be. So that's actually a great way to grow. When it's fun, it's just, growth is irresistible. So congratulations for being here. I think at this point, unless there's anything that I've forgotten to say, advanced club members, okay, I think at this point we have a really good, full schedule today. And we're gonna turn the I'm gonna turn the meeting over to the Toastmaster. This is why we like having a lot of members, because then we can have some extra people in our mix. As a Toastmaster, I'm going to now have our role players. In every meeting, we have indispensable roles that need to be fulfilled to make sure the meeting runs smoothly, efficiently, on time, the way we want it. So this time I'm going to ask our role players to stand. Our first role player will be our timer, Art Atkinson.
My role as timer is to help us keep the meeting moving and help the speakers to know where they are in their allotted speaking times. Every speaker has a certain amount of time on the agenda allocated to them speaking. We have prepared speeches that are 5 to 7 minutes long. We have evaluations which are 2 to 3 minutes long. We have table topics which are 1 to 2 minutes long. In each case, the first light that will go on will be the green light, which in the case of a 5 to 7 minute speech would go on in 5 minutes. The next light that will go on will be the yellow light, that's sort of the caution light. It's time getting close to time to wrap up. And the third light will be the red light, which would, in a 5 to 7 minute speech would go on in 7 minutes and would remain on until the speaker is done speaking. Every speaker, after the red light goes on, has 30 seconds to wrap it up in order to be eligible to win one of the amazing prizes that will be given out at the end of the meeting to speakers. And I'll give a report on the times that people spoke at the end of the meeting.
Mr. Timer, just a little more clarification. You have one speech that's 7 to 9 minutes. How will you be doing the lights for that?
For that speech, it will be red at 7,
Yeah.
yellow at 8, green at 7, yellow at 8, red at 9. And the evaluations, which are 2 to 3 minute speeches, in the case of the table topics evaluator, more time may be allocated to the table topics evaluator, depending on the number of table topics speakers there are.
Did you give the evaluation? 2, 2.5, and 3?
Yes, as I said, evaluations are 2 to 3 minutes. It'll be 2, 2.5, 3.
Green, yellow,
Green,
red.
Yellow, red.
Okay.
And table topics?
Yeah.
Table topics will be green at 1, yellow 1.5, 1.5, red at 2.
Right, and you have 30 seconds after that. This is in case someone who is a guest or a new member, you want to be learning to speak and also keeping an eye on the time, so you watch that light. Thank you very much. Okay, our grammarian. Jeez, I can't seem to change my hats fast enough. Grammarian. Okay, relevant. And the word of the day is back on the board. My job is twofold. First is to introduce a word of the day that we will all be able to use many times in the coming week to really cement it in. Relevant is an adjective. It means closely connected or appropriate to the matter at hand. An example would be the candidate's experience was relevant for the job requirements. I hear that a lot. So I will be keeping track of who uses the word of the day correctly. And I'll give a report at the end of the meeting. And also, secondly, my job is to note creative uses of the English language and also usages of the English language that might need to be corrected in some way, shape, or form. And I'll also give a report on that at the end of the meeting. Okay. Now we'll hear from our odd counter for the evening, Jean Craig.
My job as odd counter is to track the filler words that slip into our speech and are highly irrelevant to what's being said. Things like like, you know, the words so and but, if they're used to string sentences together, are filler words. We also count tongue clicks. I'm a tongue clicker myself. Repeats and false starts, and I'll give a report at the end of the meeting.
Our general evaluator will be Will Burns. We will hear from him later in the meeting. Our reader and joke master is Rick Starr. Rick, are you prepared to give us amusement towards the end of the meeting?
I'm not at liberty to say.
Okay. Well, that is your appointed duty, so we will look forward to something good there from you. All right. Louis, are you getting a phone call? That's why you're waving your cell phone?
I'm asking you to mention
I
that.
understand. Okay. So if you do have a device of some sort that will buzz or whir or play music, otherwise interrupt our meeting, please put it on off, or off is probably the best, because even when they vibrate, depending on your volume, I mean, everyone can be vibrating while it's there on the floor. Those things carry. Okay. Good. Was there anything else, Louis? Okay.
The theme of the day.
Yeah, the theme of the day is New Beginnings. We'll get into that Toastmasters table topics. All right, so our first speaker is going to be Emery Styron. We've had a shift in our program slightly in terms of our evaluators. Ryan Miller is going to be evaluating Emery Styron. Did you guys get connected in on that with his your
I'm
introduction?
depending on Louis to hand my information off.
Okay,
I'm
great.
sure he did that. He's
Great.
experienced Toastmaster that he is.
Okay, great.
Okay.
All right, so let's please warmly welcome Ryan Miller, who will be reading the
Thank you. All right, here we are. Tonight's speech by Emery Styron, who has been in Toastmasters for, I think, about a year now, that's my guess. He's also a journalist from Mount Pleasant. He has a bachelor's degree from the University of Missouri, and he has a master's degree in business administration from St. Ambrose University. He's a former editor, publisher, owner, janitor for the community newspapers in Missouri and Iowa. It's a lot of jobs in one. Tried them all. Looks like you're the Renaissance man of that newspaper. You didn't say that, but I'm just adding that. He now entertains himself as a freelance writer, and tonight's speech is based on a story he had written called in the Waterways Journal, which is it's a weekly journal in St. Louis. So this is a personal story that he wrote, and the manual that he will be working from, we all know as the Competent Communicator Manual, and it's Visual Aids, number 8, Project 8, getting comfortable with visual aids. So the objectives of tonight's speech are to select a visual aid that is appropriate for the message and for the audience, and that's us, we're all the audience, and use visual aids correctly with ease and confidence. So please welcome Emery with me, and the title of the speech is Rollin' on the River, Yeah, thanks.
Hey, there we go. Okay, thank you, Mr. Evaluator, and greetings, guests, fellow Toastmasters, and viewers at home. Have you ever driven across the Mississippi River and looked down to see a towboat pushing a string of barges? And if you did, I'm sure most of you have, did you ever wonder what it's like to work on one of those towboats? Well, I have many times. In fact, when I was in college, I had this romantic dream to be a deckhand on a towboat crew. For one reason or another, that dream didn't work out, maybe the size of my muscles. But I did have an opportunity not too long ago to visit a real towboat at Keokuk, Iowa, at the George M. Verity River Museum. It's a working towboat that has been permanently beached on the riverfront in Keokuk and now serves as a museum. I want to share with you some things I learned while I was there and some reasons I hope will be relevant to you of why you might want to visit. The George M. Verity played a historic role in river transportation. It's a rare chance to get an up-close look at a working towboat, and there is a great example of American ingenuity. Slide, please. Why is the Verity historic? Two things. The first, the Verity is one of only 3 steam-powered paddle wheel towboats that exist in the United States. The second part, which I think is more important, the Verity had a key role in opening shipping, commercial shipping, on the upper Mississippi River. One thing I learned, I was surprised to learn, is that the upper Mississippi was not open to barge traffic until the early 1930s. It was just too hazardous. It took a system of locks and dams built by the government and government-backed barge lines to open the upper river. And when the Verity made its first voyage in August of 1927, it pushed just 3 barges carrying 1,600 tons of coal. Now compare that to today's barge fleets, normally 15 barges carrying more than 22,000 tons of coal. That's equivalent to 225 railroad cars. A very efficient way to move goods. Second thing I like about the Verity, it gives you an up-close look at life on a towboat. You can see the bunks the crews stayed in. But the first thing I noticed when I stepped on board was how big everything is. It's huge. These triangular structures are called knees, and they are the part of the towboat that pushes against the barges. They're higher than my head. One thing about towboats, they don't really tow. They push the barges upstream. Now these black vertical structures behind the knees are capstans. And they're a kind of steam-powered winch that winds up these big ropes and holds the barges in place. Next thing you see here would be called a cleat on a small boat. But on a towboat, it's called a kevel. And it's about 4 feet long. And the ropes you see wound around there, they're as thick as my arm. This is big stuff. Next, please. And here's the paddle wheel. You can't really see it from this top-down perspective, but that sucker is 19 feet tall. And the planks on it are 2 to 3 inches thick. So it's big stuff. Next, please. Now, down in the engine room, I got a surprise. There's an old diving suit. I haven't seen anything like that since the black and white movies I watched as a kid. It's got the brass helmet. Really neat to see. Well, the divers used those to check for underwater hull damage back in the 20s when the boat started working. Next, please. But my very favorite part of the whole boat is the pilot house, 3 floors up. You can sit in that captain's chair and you can push that lever to full steam ahead. How many of us have dreamed of doing that? And you can swivel it around and get that panoramic view of the river. Next, please, Rick. I don't know about you, but I never get tired of the sights on the Mississippi. And next. Third thing about the Verity, the engineering ingenuity. Next slide. I'm no mechanical expert. You could just ask my wife. But I learned a lot about nautical engineering when I toured that boat. This is Chuck Peicher. He takes care of the boat for the city of Keokuk, and he's explaining how you burn fuel oil to heat water and make steam, and then that big rod you see coming out of the cylinder is a piston that's attached to a giant timber that connects to the paddle wheel. That's what kept the Verity rolling on the river until she retired in 1960. And I did say she. Go ahead. The Verity was named for George M. Verity, who's the founder of Armco Steel, and he is obviously a man. But the boat is called She. That's just how towboaters talk. Next slide. So in summary, there are 3 good reasons to visit the George M. Verity. 1, it's a bigger-than-life walk-through history lesson. 2, it's an up-close look at a real towboat. And 3, it's a demonstration of engineering ingenuity. And there's one more, Rick. It's a good deal. $4 gets you all that, or if you're a geezer like me, $3. Take the family, kids are $2. Kindergartners, none are free. But don't take my word for it. Go see for yourself. Steam on down to Keokuk this spring. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, at points, if you never remember who that artist is, right? Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. That was really, really fascinating. Write something right here we can all take a look at, and obviously you have passion. We're going to take 2 minutes to write the evaluations for Emory, and this is something everybody does. And if you could jot your name, usually at the bottom, then Emory knows who to talk to if he's got any questions about what you might have meant, or just appreciate it. All right. These are quick kinds of evaluations, and you can give them to speakers when we break at 9:15. Our next speaker is going to be Stuart Straub, and his evaluator is going to be Louis Denbaum. Please help me warmly welcome Louis Denbaum. A little bit of collecting of materials there. Okay.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, guests, viewers at home. Our next speaker is Stuart Straub, who enjoys reading and writing, and he loves the theater. This presentation tonight is the last in the storytelling manual. He is completing his storytelling manual, which is an advanced manual. And this will get him halfway to his goal of becoming an advanced bronze communicator. Toastmasters. The project he's working on is called The Folk Tale. And the title of this folk tale is Baba Yaga. His objective is to tell a folk tale that is entertaining and enjoyable for a specific age group. Hopefully it's young adults like us. And to use vivid imagery and voice to enhance the tale. He has 7 to 9 minutes. Please help me warmly welcome Stuart.
Fellow Toastmasters, guests, and viewers at home, this should warm your bones. A peasant in Russia, a man, his 2 beautiful twins, lost his wife, and he mourned her for years. It was a beautiful relationship. Let himself go. One day he bucked up and he said, I cannot have an orderly house unless I find a good woman. So he sought one out, married her, had some kids. It's all going well. However, the stepmother despised her stepchildren. She envied the boy and the girl. She was always finding things for them to do that would send them further and further away from the home. She didn't feed them very often. And when a wicked thought grows in the heart and reaches the mind, it can destroy all good thoughts. This woman was obsessed with getting rid of these kids. So she decided, I'll send them deep into the woods to see the witch. So she calls the children. Children, 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 come to Mummy. I want you to go deep into the woods. I want you to see my grandmother. And if you are well behaved, she'll give you all kinds of sweets. The daughter, smart girl, knew better. So she grabbed her brother by the hand and ran him all the way to her grandmother's house. She got there out of breath and said, Grandmother, stepmama wants to send us to this awful place in the woods. I don't know exactly what it is, but I know it's bad. The grandmother knows where the kids are going. She's very upset and she says, honey, there's nothing I can do for you, and you have to go. But when you get there, be kind to anyone and everyone you come across, no matter how helpless or weak they may seem. And then she gave them milk, she gave them big slices of ham, and cookies. And that's the wonderful thing about this home, and you know a good home is filled with cookies. She sent the children on their way, and she stared after them for a long time. So the children, they wander, going deeper and darker into the forest, and this horrible crunching sounds as you go deeper into darkness, thickness, woods, and they could feel the eyes of the forest rolling over their young bodies. Birds overhead. Didn't quite seem like bird sounds. It's getting weirder and creepier. And there was the singular home of Baba Yaga. And it was a marvel. The children walked up to it, afraid, yet mesmerized. It had a rooster head, and it had chicken legs. And they shouted, turn around so we can see the front of you. So the house turned, and there inside the house, lying on her side, was Baba Yaga. Foul, 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 I smell Russian children. The children were terrified because this hag creature was licking her lips and staring at them. And they stood close together and they said, we are here, our stepmother sent us, and we're here to work for you. And the witch said, well, that's very good. Come in, and I'll work you hard, and you'll be rewarded. But if you don't do what I ask, I will surely eat you. She put them to work right away. Drudgery, and the girl was in tears with the spinning wheels, making fabrics, and just freaking out. The boy was set to task to fill up a tub. And so the girl is breaking down, and these mice start twittering and chirping. The mouse sounds very cute. Little girl, drop some crumbs and we'll give you some good advice. Okay. And so they say, they have their snacks, and they say, find the black cat. He is very hungry, and he will help you. Ah, good news. The boy, not faring very well, in tears, little kid, he's got a sieve, and he fills it up, and he runs over to the tub, and it's empty. Oh God, the witch is going to eat me because I can't do this. So the birds are more friendly than the ones before. They're flying overhead. Drop some crumbs, we'll give you some good news. Oh God, start sprinkling crumbs. And they eat, and they say, water and clay. Ah, a bright spot. So the kids get some clay, and he spits in the pot. Ah, and he can complete the task. And he fills the tub. Oh, this is good news. So, right after that, they find the black cat. And the cat says, will you, first of all, thank you for the ham. It's delicious and starving. Thank you for the milk. You have to get out of here as soon as possible. And I will help you do this. I will give you a comb. You throw it behind you, and a forest appears. I will give you a towel. You throw it behind you, and a body of water appears. Leave as soon as possible. The witch comes home and is a bit surprised, hungry, but surprised that the work's done. Marvelous. It's so nice that all the chores are done. You are very brave and clever today. Tomorrow, the work will be harder, and surely I will suck the meat from your bones. The kids go to bed at night, and they're afraid to breathe, and they don't want to talk. It's wretched. The cat wakes them up. Here's your comb. Thank you again for the goodies. Here's your towel. Go. The kids fly out of there. They're running through the forest. And the witch, she wakens, she has a good sense of what she wants to eat, smells the kid, and they're going away, and so she goes to the head, cat, what are you doing? The cat is happily shredding the work that the girl has been doing for the witch. And the witch says, how could you let the children go? The cat says, I've been serving you for years, and you don't even feed me, and they are gone. The witch kicks him, she goes, she starts running after these kids. Food is getting away, mind you. The kids are running from these dogs. The kids throw the cookies, the dogs are delighted, and they stop. It's a wonderful distraction. The kids run by the gates swing at the children. The girl stops and oils the hinges. They run by a birch tree and start sweeping towards their eyes, want to scratch their eyes out. And the girl gets positioned to tie a bow on the birch tree. And the witch comes across her underlings and says, why have you let the children go? The birch tree says, well, I've been with you for ages, and you've done nothing for me. And the girl tied a beautiful bow on me. The gate said, I've served you for ages as well. And the girl, oiled by hinges, soothed me. And the dog said, well, we were starving, and this girl, being simple creatures, you fed us, she fed us, you didn't, we let her go. She shrieked, and she ran after the kids. She knew she was going to get help from them, and she quickly gained on the kids. The kids threw down the towel, a body of water appeared. Took Baba Yaga a while to hop around, but she made it across, caught right up to the kids. They were terrified. The kids threw down the comb. Up sprang a forest, branches overlapping, a big tangle of roots, treetops coming together. She fought, she cursed, she could not find her way through, and so she went back home furious. The kids ran all the way home to their father and said, Daddy, this is what stepmama did. Why do you love the kids more than we do? He was angry and he got rid of his stepwife and he began his new life and he watched over the children's happiness. The end.
Whoa. Please take 2 minutes. Well, that looked like something fun to do. Did you have fun telling that?
Oh yes. It's more fun than memorizing it.
Yeah. It was so fun. So those of us that are thinking fun, that's our sub-theme for tonight. That is a very obvious demonstration of having fun and being effective. Being effective. All right. Mr. Timer, did our speakers qualify? And-
Every qualifying, doer qualifying.
Okay, very good. So we have 2 qualifying speakers. You have a little thin piece of paper there. It's highly technical the way we do this. You write the name and then you tear off for the vote that we're keeping. Okay. Moving right along, at this point I'm going to call up our general evaluator, Will Burns, who will be overseeing the evaluation portion of the meeting.
Thank you, Jean. And now it's my pleasure to call up our first evaluator, Connor Miller, who will evaluate Emery Styron's speech.
You will. The speech from Emery, I thought it was excellent, just personal opinion, really nice job. I'm going to go over some of the points in the manual for the visual aids, number 8. I think you generally talked about the evolution of the history of the towboat, which I appreciated. I think you really researched the topic, which is one of the points, was the speech well researched. So I got a history of what they used to be and how they've increased in, I guess, how much volume they can carry these days. And it was an interesting topic for me since I have no idea the history of towboats. And it sounds like you have worked on the towboat, or you had some experience with it. And I would say maybe be a little bit more descriptive of your personal story with the towboat industry. I mean, you talked a lot about the facts, the metric tons, and we got a lot of pictures from the. I would just like to hear more about your personal story with it. Maybe just share one experience you had working in the towboat industry. Did each visual aid help you understand and remember the speaker's point? I think they were really well chosen pictures, very clear and dense with information. Although maybe some more text. I think that would have been helpful for me just to have some more text on the pictures. Maybe if you're trying to teach us something more, but you used a lot of descriptive language, which I liked. So, and good hand gestures. Your gestures were, you said like full steam ahead and swivel chair or something. There was some sort of very good gesture heavy, which was good. How clear was the speaker's purpose? You talked about the evolution of the history of the towboats and why we should visit, I can't remember the name of the towboat, the Verity, I guess. Why we should visit the Verity. So, again, I think that was very clear. Was the speaker's word choice effective and appropriate? Very relevant word choice, because you were talking about towboats and you gave us, you're talking about steam down to the Keokuk, and so that was very relevant to the topic. Was the speech well rehearsed? Already researched, already talked about that. I would just say, I still know the difference between pacing and using the stage well, so you did one of those two, either pacing or using the stage well, so whatever you want to take it, either way, I think you were using the same wall rather than facing them. And that's it. Thanks for a good speech.
Take 2 minutes and evaluate the, no, don't do that. Moving right along here, we're going to go into our next evaluation, which will be Louis Denbaum evaluating Stuart Straub's speech.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Club members, guests, viewers at home, and especially Stuart. I'm going to use the manual for most of this evaluation. What techniques, tempo, rhythm, pausing, volume, did the speaker use that were especially effective? I liked Dewar's use of tempo. It started out more slowly as he was getting advice on what to do when he gets to the witch's house. But then I really loved the use of tempo when the characters had to run away from the witch. They're running through the forest, and they're meeting the bird, and they're meeting the birch tree, and you could feel like there was movement in his voice that mimicked what was happening in the story. That was very effective. Comment on the speaker's use of vocal variety. He definitely used his voice. He used his voice to scare us. You know, you could feel the evilness of the wicked. And he used gestures along with his voice in a very effective way. That I commend you on. What was the mood that he was trying to convey, and did he convey it? The mood was definitely fear, scary, evil. You got all of those moods in a very effective way. What could the speaker do better? I have a couple suggestions. Now, by the way, the manual does not allow him to act out the story. He has to tell the story. One of the things that I felt was distracting for me and could have been done better is the lack of eye contact. I did not feel that, and it's one of the things the manual mentioned, is eye contact with the audience, because you're telling us the story. Most of the time it appeared to me you were looking this way, particularly like when they're trying to escape in this direction, and looking this way when the witch is coming from that direction. I would have much preferred you get us to sit close in a semicircle, sit down in front of us, and tell us the story with your eyes to rope us in that way. So that's one suggestion. And that's my main suggestion. I guess the second suggestion I have is I would have liked a more powerful ending. This is a scary story, right? It's evil. But what happens at the end? It all works out beautifully. It's happy at the end. And I would have loved to have seen you change the mood from that evil, like maybe sigh and have a pause, and then show us how wonderful it was. They lived happily ever after, and so on. But all in all, fantastic story, really enjoyable.
Thank you, Louis. And now it's my pleasure to call up our Table Topics Master to introduce it and run Table Topics. Rick Starr.
Thank you, Will, fellow Golden speakers, guests, and viewers at home. Just as a reminder, the table topic section is a chance for us to practice impromptu speaking. If you get up to speak, you're not given the topic until you get up here. You have 1 to 2 minutes to do your speech, but you're allowed up to 30 seconds before you begin speaking, just to think about the speech, to gather your thoughts. Then you're allowed 1 to 2 minutes, and you have 30 seconds over those 2 minutes. So the theme of tonight's meeting is New Beginnings. Who would like to begin with New Beginnings with table topics? Donna. Donna, tell us about a new beginning in your life. Tell us about a new beginning in your life. Thank you.
Wherever you want.
Hi, members, guests, and people at home. So I guess it's pretty obvious for me, my new beginning, because it's Toastmasters. And I love new beginnings because, one, it helps me to surrender to myself, which I am the creator, and I am the person that has the knowledge inside me. And having a new beginning in Toastmasters gives me a chance to grow, and I believe that is what we're here for, is to grow to love, to grow to be happier than ever. This world is a troubled world for the most part, and to get the opportunity to have a chance to be positive in our life, to just to begin anew every day. I take that opportunity every day. I let go, I surrender, I welcome in a new day, I welcome a new friend in my life. I just think it's a great opportunity just to, it's not just an opportunity, it's a way to just give reverence to life, which is seldom seen on our planet. And so that's what a new beginning means to me. Thank you.
Congratulations to Donna. This is her first meeting as a member of Toastmasters and her first table topic speech. Donna. Who's next? Could be a guest, could be a member.
You guys, Dan, Fred.
This is the time at which none of us looks at the.
One of my speeches, I gave you a technique for avoiding eye contact. It doesn't work with me. I'll find you. Dan, tell us about a beginning or a new beginning in your life that came out of the blue that was a complete surprise to you. A new beginning that was a surprise.
Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, viewers at home. The beginning that surprised me recently was not exactly a beginning,
but it was a surprise the way it developed. I have always liked music, but I've always been a bit lazy about doing anything about it. I have some good friends that I like to sing with occasionally. I have one old friend who for many years lived in Austin, and I'd see him about once a year. We'd get together and we'd sing harmonies. His wife sings too. We love 3-part harmonies. Lots of Beatles. The surprise came fairly recently because he and his wife have moved to Fairfield and live here now. And at one point he said, we should get together and do an open mic. Which sounded like a totally crazy idea to me, because I'm not really a performer. But the real surprise of the surprise category was that I picked up a bass guitar that had been lying around in our house for a long time and started to learn to play. I am a failed guitarist. I have some of those lying around. But my friend is a very good guitarist. We didn't need a guitar, but it was fun and useful to have the bass along with it. It's actually very hard for me to sing harmonies and play bass. There's something about the two independent functions going on simultaneously. I suppose if you play piano, you've got that figured out with your two hands. It's kind of like that. You have to have one part of your mind kind of going on this and another part going on that. And I see that you probably couldn't really take any more of my wonderful story, so I'll leave you with that. Very good. Who is next? Nicole, would you like to try again?
Again?
Why not?
I have a new beginning coming to me.
Hey.
I'm going to read the quote for today's meeting. Every day is a chance to begin again. Don't focus on the failures of yesterday. Start today with positive thoughts and expectations. What are your thoughts on this?
Good evening, Toastmasters, guests, myself, and viewers at home. So the question, what are my thoughts on this quote? Thank God that it exists. Thank God that we can start over in every moment, and that I let this breath remind me of that. It's inspirational to me, and knowing that and living that more in the last few years, I think it saved my life. Why? Because I grew up being very hard on myself, constantly looking back and berating and analyzing everything that I've done. And when I realized and started to love myself and to recognize I could create myself in each moment, and that every moment is a miracle and an opportunity, I started to enjoy life and be excited and relax a little bit and let go of my past. If you knew me when I was younger and something in me felt like I didn't belong here. I would apologize if you ran into me and stepped on my foot. And my friends would go around and squirt me every time I said sorry. And took a little, that bath, that shower kind of cleansed me and helped wake me up to that I do belong here and that I can enjoy life. And that each moment is an opportunity to have fun and be inspired by what's possible. And so it helped me come to a level of acceptance and enjoyment and self-trust that I appreciate.
Hi, okay. Mr. Timer, could you tell us which table topic speakers qualify?
All of them. Donna qualified, Dan qualified, Nicole qualified.
Dan, Donna, and Nicole,
Correct.
please take a minute and vote for the best table topic speaker. It's now my pleasure to introduce our table topics evaluator, Mr. Jyotiraj Adhikar.
Thank you. Fellow Toastmasters, guests, and viewers at home. The table topic is always a tough job. To evaluate the table topic is always a tough job. Not because there are so many speakers, but there are varieties of speakers. First, I'll start with Dana. How do you pronounce your name? Sorry.
Donna?
Dana. So I'll start with Dana. It's been your first table topics. It's not like first. It's like you're a very experienced one. You took that 30 seconds, you utilized that 30 seconds, and you thought what you're gonna build on. Your hand gestures were pretty good. I saw you using your hands a lot of time. And and the things that you told your personal story, connecting to the Toastmasters, how that is your new beginning, and that was the inspiration to all the audience too. And you give your points, what you like to do in a conclusion. I like to go outside. I like to make new friends in life and all those things. So that was very good. You have a lot of things to tell in 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes. The only suggestion is just use a stage a little bit because you are standing in the same place for all 3 minutes. If you can do that, you will be a very good speaker. Dan, you came out of the podium and stand here, and you started your story with a very good smile, a big smile on your face. You also utilized your 30 seconds to think. You had a very good hand gestures, but the only thing my recommendation is you were standing like this. If your hands were tied behind you most of the time. Only when you use a hand sometimes like this, and then again like this. If you watch your video, you will know every time, all the 3 minutes your hands were behind you. So just your hand in front of you, that will help you. And Nicole, you also utilize the 30 seconds. You thought for a while before you speak. That's a very good thing to do because in table topic you won't know what the speaker is going to ask you. So you have that 30 seconds to think and build a story on that. You had a very good hand gestures and very good personal stories. I have only 2 suggestions to you. One is just use a little more of eye contacts to the both sides of the audience because sometimes I saw you watching, looking down on the floor or on the ceiling. So that is my first recommendation, both sides in front. And second is use a little more of the stage. So you're standing here all the time, so if you can do this, or use a little bit. When you have 3 parts or 2 parts of your story, first part you tell here, you go a little bit here and tell the second part of the story here. That will make you a very good speaker. Thank you.
Jyoti. And now we will vote for the best evaluator. But first, we must answer that eternal question, did they all qualify? And to help us with that determination is Art Atkinson. Art, did they
Lewis
qualify?
qualified, Prana qualified, and Jyoti Raj.
Please vote for
All three.
Prana, Lewis, or Jyoti. And we're back. And now we will dive into the reports. This is where all the hardworking people behind the scenes get to exercise their speaking muscles a little bit, as our illustrious president would say. And our first role player will be Art Atkinson, our timer.
Everyone who spoke tonight qualified for the time slot. Emery spoke first. This is a 5 to 7 minute speech, 7 minutes 11 seconds. Dewar in a 7 to 9 minute speech, 9 minutes 19 seconds. Table topic speakers: Donna, 1 minute 45 seconds. Dan, 2 minutes 23 seconds. Nicole, 2 minutes 11. Evaluators: Lewis, 3 minutes 23 seconds. Prana, 3 minutes 6 seconds. Jyoti Raj, 3 minutes 23 seconds. That's my report.
And next, pulling triple duty, Jean Symington Craig as grammarian. Please give us your report.
I have failed.
Make it relevant.
Will, okay. All right, let me give the word of the day report first. I did better on that. Dan used relevant once, or used irrelevant. Emery used it once. Ryan Prana used it twice. And Will used it once. I used it on one of my evaluation forms, but that doesn't really count. Now, in terms of creative use of language, that's where I went off the rails. I was so caught up in Mississippi Life and the Baba Yaga horror tale that I just didn't write anything down. There were so many good things in there, really, a lot of good things in both of them. I just didn't write it down. I wrote down, by the time I snapped out of it, I got Donna saying, talked about the new beginnings, giving reverence to life. I liked that phrase. And then I also liked the word usage from Nicole, berate. She berates herself. Berate, I love, that's a great word. Not one that you want to apply too much, but just, it's a good word. But that's it. I didn't hear any startlingly terrible usage of grammar, which is usually something I will pick up on. So good job. Thank you.
And now, let me call up Dan Craig to give the on-campus report.
Jean didn't have any tallies that I heard. Lewis had one Emery 3 1 and 1 false start. Prana 3 1 3 so's, 1 and 1 tongue click. Dewar 1 so. Will, I didn't record anything. Also the same with Rick. Donna, I had 2 2 and 3 and a couple of repeats and a false start. Dan, who knows? Nicole, I had 3 a so, 7 ands, stringing sentences together. 1 false start. Jyoti Raj, I had 3 3 ands, 2 repeats. I didn't record anything for art. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. And after all that seriousness, let's bring some levity into the situation and to the meeting. We call up Rick Starr, if he's ready.
when I go to bed, I don't know whether I'll be thirsty or not. Sometimes I want to drink a water, sometimes I don't want to drink a water. So I hit upon a great solution. I have one full glass of water if I'm thirsty and I want to drink, and an empty glass in case I don't want to drink.
Now look at that. Part of the agenda when I get to work my speaking muscles a little bit here and give the evaluation of the evaluators. Our first evaluator was Prana. I like how you spoke from the manual. If I had a suggestion for you, and I do, it's in your introduction, that you introduce Emery, his name, last. So you include any information about the CC manual, about his background, his biography, and finally introducing Rolling Down the River, Emery Styron. Boom. Just gets that juices flowing, because I noticed you started and then you kind of had, oh, one more thing. But I loved your gestures for whether you were swiveling or whether he was swiveling in the chair. You did good use of that. Keep it up.
All right.
Lewis, I like how you picked up on some fine points with tempo, with the deeper levels of storytelling. This is why we have more experienced evaluators doing evaluations of more experienced speakers, because the manuals, as they go, they get deeper. And Lewis, you had a number of really good points. I have nothing to say for you to improve, well, not for lack of looking. Take it as praise here at this time. I'll just say to Lewis, I know you don't like evaluating, but that was in no way obvious up here. You seem quite comfortable and quite confident doing it. Finally, a side point, Rick, as table topics master, feel free to reinforce that segueing is authorized, just for those of us that may not be aware of that. If you get a topic you want to move. This is not a competition. That will come several months from now. Jyoti, you had advice for Donna, Dan, and Nicole. My only suggestion for you would be to work the stage as well a little bit. Now, I understand this is a strong side, and there's a lot of presence on this stage as it is, but give a little love over here as well, as I'm sure Jean, Prana, myself can give it. Thank you all. Now let me call up our Toastmaster, our president, Jean Symington Craig.
Did I get the evaluator result from voting?
I've got that, yes. But you did not. So now do. That's only for the evaluators.
Okay, yeah, good. All right. Well, this has been really entertaining. I feel much warmer than I did when I walked in. Although who's in t-shirts? I do not understand this thing. But hey, Toastmasters takes, we are non-denominational, non-temperature controlled. It's everybody, so whatever your temperature runs at, you're welcome here. All right. So we have some awards to give tonight. Let's have a drum roll for our best table topic. First time table topics.
All right, got it.
Okay, good. And our best evaluator, drum roll please.
Got it, thank you.
All right. By the way, Will is our Vice President of Public Relations, and we just attended officer training on Saturday up in Cedar Rapids. A number of our officers, Will went to a dynamite session on social media. We have our Facebook page. We're going to have our special event coming up in less than 3 weeks on February 2nd. So we have our all kinds of activities. Go look at Golden Speakers. What do? We have to ask to be a friend, and then
Yeah.
Will say yes. You will say yes, won't you? Okay. He'll say yes, and we're just going to be using that channel a lot to get our things rolling. But that's why we get pictures taken too, is to make, because people like to see us out there. Finally, our best speaker of the night. This is something we practice. As you go through life, you will be in a position to be accepting awards and things at the front of a room. So it's good to practice shaking hands with the right, accepting whatever it is, the swag with the left, and then smiling for whoever's taking the camera. You can take a picture. Everything is a workout. And finally, we do have a project number 8 ribbon for getting comfortable. I think we will have time, Emery, for,
Okay.
let me just, are you ready? You're
Ready.
prepared? Okay, good.
He's here.
All right. Emery is our Vice President of Membership, and he will conduct our vote and our induction of Donna. And that's something, it's all fun. One thing I just want to mention here, we'll do this quickly, pacing versus staging. Pacing is something we don't want to do. That's when you do the professorial thing where you're talking, you just kind of walk back and forth and bing, 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 the rabbit. So that's not helpful. Staging, on the other hand, is a good thing, and that means you thought about the points in your speech and you've decided where you're going to be standing at different parts as you're giving your speech to maximize your connection with your audience and the effective delivery of your speech, your message. Handshaking, just a couple of things. Handshaking this is the lectern. New people, we're always shaking, and just like we saw the towboat with the captain at the wheel and everything, we don't leave this unattended. So before you leave here, you're shaking, and then the next person is up here. So that's why the Toastmaster doesn't go over here and go, oh, good, glad to see you, because we've left the front of the room. So we wait here and we shake. We also, someone tell me, what is it about this middle aisle?
Zero traffic zone.
It is verboten. This is our camera area. So when you're going back to your seat, you go around the sides, and we'll talk about that as we go forward. But just that's the thing. It sometimes looks like the shortest distance, but we don't want to get there. Do that. And Dan hates being tripped over. Hates being tripped over. Okay, let's go ahead and have our officer induction, and I'll go ahead and call up our Vice President of Membership, Emery Styron.
Donna, would you come up and stand beside me? Oh, we have to vote?
First
She
we
can't stand here while we vote?
So this is the thing, we officially have to vote you in. So this is where you would tell us if you are an axe murderer wanted in the United States. That would put a little hiccup into things. But otherwise, I'll take her out, and then
Oh,
we'll conduct a discussion. Okay.
Security's waiting outside. We're just.
Donna, you have been duly approved, unanimously and enthusiastically, I might add, for membership in Toastmasters in Golden Speakers. But before you join, you must,
Dance.
yeah, you must take the pledge. So there's quite a long list of things here. I think if you wait till I finish and say, I will, and do your dance, that will suffice. This is the Toastmasters promise. As a member of Toastmasters International and Golden Speakers, do you promise to attend club meetings regularly, to prepare all of your speeches and projects to the best of your ability, basing them on the projects in the competent communication, advanced communication, or competent leadership manuals, to prepare for and fulfill meeting assignments, to provide fellow club members with helpful, constructive evaluations, to help the club maintain the positive, friendly environment necessary for all members to learn and grow, to serve your club as an officer, that's where they nailed me, when called upon to do so, to treat your fellow club members and guests with respect and courtesy, to bring guests to the club meetings so they can see the benefits Toastmasters membership offers, to adhere to the guidelines and rules for all Toastmasters education and recognition programs, and to maintain honest and highly ethical standards during the conduct of all Toastmasters activities.
I will.
Good. So on behalf of Golden Speakers, I'm happy to welcome you to Toastmasters. We look forward to growing with you.
Thank you.
You're gonna call me back up?
I'd like to return the meeting to our president, Jean Symington Craig. The powerhouse.
Yes, okay. We're almost at a wrap. Want to put out for the members that we are getting into the spring speech contest sessions, timing. Officers haven't decided. I think we're going to be looking at mid-March for our spring contests, which are the inspirational speech contest, which is a 5 to 7 minute speech on something that has some meaning and is inspirational for people. And then the other contest in the spring that is conducted by Toastmasters International is called the Table Topics Contest. And that is just like what we're doing here, table topics, very precise though. And so what will be happening is, if you would like to be in that speech contest, because we'll have our club contest in March, probably have the area contest in early April, we'll have the division contest. These are the levels as you go up, the winners keep going up. So club, area, division, and then the district conference will be in May, and that's when we have 5 divisions, there's potentially 5 contestants there, and you're competing at a very, very high level. Lewis, you competed. Which contest was it? Was it inspirational? In the spring. This is last spring. Was it a rush?
Yep.
It was a rush.
Oh, yeah.
And you worked your way all the way through, right from club all the way through. Educational and rewarding?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Great experience.
People you meet. So be thinking of that. It's our usual 5 to 7 minute speech. It doesn't have to, it's not going to be one of the manual speeches. It's going to be something, can be open. Okay. You can go to Toastmasters.org. That is the international website. There's just a gazillion pieces of information in there. You can look up contest rules and start getting some ideas that way. So that's your heads up. If you want to be in that, start thinking about your speech. Be a good one.
Jean, people can also go to YouTube and find previous year's speeches of the international competition,
Okay.
the world competition.
Great. Okay, great. And by the way, Corey May, who is our special guest speaker coming for our special event on, what day is it?
February 2nd.
Excellent. Tuesday, where is it?
Library.
The library, I'm just checking, because this is stuff you want to be able to have on the tip of your finger. Okay, so Corey May is our guest speaker. He has won both the inspirational speech contest at the district level, and he's won the, was it table topics? I think that's what I said, table topics at the district level. This is seriously good performance. You don't want to miss Corey. We're going to have materials on the poster page on the Fairfield Weekly Reader and an article, and Rick is overseeing this whole thing. So we're getting into all that. So good. Is there anything else we needed to talk about? Good. Okay, I think I got all the points. Is there any questions, any final club business before I hammer? Okay, good. We'll see you next week. Meeting is adjourned.